Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening to wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for attending the presentation on Tech Innovation Intelligence. I promise you I have some great information for you. My name is Andrea Kirkland, Senior Program Manager here at Twitter. We'll get into my bio in a little bit, but again, just wanted to give you an overview of the presentation and kind of what we'll be talking about today. My background is not tech driven. It's actually kind of quite a journey of how I got into tech. Very much operations focused, supply chain operations specifically. But given the growth of technology and kind of the development of cloud computing and the capabilities that it has allowed us or offered us in today's industry, it's something that has really driven this idea of tech innovation intelligence. So I'm excited to share that with you today. So as I mentioned, Andrea Kirkland, Senior Program Manager here at Twitter. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Andrea Kirkland. But as I mentioned, my background really isn't in tech. I started out with Nike in supply chain operations, then went to Anheuser-Busch again in supply chain. My introduction into tech was really using technology such as artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, which we'll get into in a bit, to transform how we operate from a supply chain standpoint. From there, it was a matter of kind of understanding the capabilities of these different technologies, our business problems that we were looking to solve, and how those two married together. So that's really what developed my sense of tech innovation intelligence, because it was kind of understanding what the technologies were, those capabilities, and then what the business challenges were that we're looking to solve, and then marrying the two together. And so as we go through the presentation, you'll kind of see how this content has really manifested itself through my own journey in tech, okay? So the content layout, so we're gonna go through into what is intelligent automation, okay? Intelligent automation is kind of a broad term as part of business transformation, digital transformation, some buzzwords you've probably heard before. So we're gonna dive into what intelligent automation is. Then we'll explore some exponential technologies. So intelligent automation is comprised of several different components, right? There are certain technologies that allow us to harness the kind of power or the capabilities of intelligent automation. We'll go into a bit more detail there, okay? And then we'll go into this concept that I've introduced of tech innovation intelligence. Again, really diving into how do we tie the business challenges to the capabilities of technology, okay? And then lastly, we'll round out with a few takeaways so that hopefully you can apply some of this information to your day-to-day or on your journey through tech, all right? So business transformation. Again, you've probably heard about it before, digital transformation. If you have, give me a one in the chat, business transformation, digital transformation, maybe industry 4.0. All of these are driving towards this idea of intelligent automation. How do we automate end-to-end business processes that unlock capabilities and insights and resources or value add opportunities that previously weren't accessible or just didn't exist because the technology wasn't there yet, okay? So with this, when we talk about intelligent automation and that end-to-end transformation of different processes, it's really driving towards operational excellence. You've probably heard of OKRs or KPIs, what are our key performance indicators, et cetera, right? Those are components of operations, whether it's for our internal processes or how our product performs in the market, right? So how do we use these different tools to help drive operational excellence in that capacity, okay? So when we come to operational excellence, it's this idea of business process management, right? I have internal businesses I have internal processes that I use to manage my business, right? Or we have different processes that our customers will kind of interact with, whether it's an app or a product, to elicit a certain reaction, right? For us, it's a tweet. How do you create a tweet, right? That's a business process, okay? We want to make sure that process is as smooth, as painless as possible, right? Again, internally and externally, okay? So that's the idea of intelligent automation, really helping us to drive efficient, effective, optimized business processes. So taking a click down into this intelligent automation idea, right? Three main pillars. So into artificial intelligence, you've probably heard of this idea of machines being able to think and learn. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence that has really carried the idea that machines can really learn from experiences or take data and apply that in new ways and provide new insights, right? The caveat here is that although the data is a learning mechanism or a learning input, the quality of that data is imperative, right? What we like to say is garbage in, garbage out. So if you put poor quality data into a model or into an algorithm, then your output is going to be just as bad, if not worse, than what you're working with now or what you're trying to transform, right? So artificial intelligence is one component of intelligent automation, and that data is an imperative component, okay? Moving down to business process management, just like we talked about on the last slide, it's the set of business processes or set of activities that I have internally or externally that help drive certain outputs for my business, all right? So if I'm looking to carry out a product management task or from a financial standpoint, if I want to carry out a PO order or an RFP, these types of things can be automated through business process management or intelligent automation capabilities, okay? How that's done is through the next point, robotic process automation. So you've probably seen bots or heard the term bots before. For me, I'm a sneakerhead, so I take L's on sneakers every Saturday when there's a drop that I'm interested in. Put a one if you, or put an L actually if you take an L's on sneakers as well. But you've probably heard the idea that bots are winning and taking up all these different raffles and things of that nature, right? Well, just as bots have been used for commercial use in that regard, we also have bots for internal business processes and business operations. So we're really taking that end-to-end process, automating it for a specific output, okay? So that's intelligent automation. That's what we'll say the three components that comprise an intelligent automation solution, okay? Again, artificial intelligence, business process management, and robotic process automation. Intelligent automation is really kind of the broad term that is applicable to exponential technology. If you're familiar with Moore's law, that's where the term exponential came from. I won't go into detail because it's pretty technical, but it's just the idea that technology will grow at an exponential rate, okay? And that's what really signifies and captures the capabilities that we have now as a result of technology. So artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, natural language processing, all these different technologies that allow us to say, hey, Siri, and she's probably going to say, just a second, never mind.
I'm not sure I understand.
See, so things like that, that's natural language processing. That is an exponential technology that didn't exist maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago that now exists today that help us drive operational excellence or customer experience, okay? This is all enabled by cloud computing. Again, won't get into the details there, but because of advances in technology and advances in computing power, the amount of data that we have to compute, we are now able to pursue these different value-added activities or value-added venues that we didn't have access to before. And that's the whole idea of using exponential technology to drive operational excellence and consumer or customer experience, okay? Given the fact that we have all this technology, all these great capabilities and things that we can use to help advance our business objectives or advance our experiences for customers, right? It's amazing. I mean, these are things that can unlock tremendous potential for different experiences. The caveat here and the call out that I'd like to take a moment to pause on is the fact that just because we have technology and just because we have these capabilities, that doesn't mean that problems are magically going to go away, right? If we don't use these technologies in an intelligent way, a thoughtful way, then the problems that exist are just going to propagate. It's going to essentially technology is going to magnify the problems that our customers are feeling, that we're feeling internally from our business operations, and then that ultimately impact our business, right? So that brings the concept of tech innovation intelligence that provokes the thought of how can we intelligently apply these technologies? What's the actual problem that we're looking to solve? What's the journey that we want to elicit and improve for our customers, right? That's that idea of tech innovation intelligence. So with that, three different components or three different ways to think about this. So what's the process or customer journey? Okay. What's the kind of the fundamental way of working today? What are the, moving down to that second point, what are the gaps and pain points that exist with that current way of working, right? Once we have a cross-functional view of how we operate, what's going on, again, a landscape of our operations, then we can take a click down and do an assessment of what's wrong. Hey, this person is spending X amount of time on a particular activity because of data that they're getting from another team or from a tool, or the tool itself is slow, right? That's a pain point. Or maybe a gap is, hey, I'm unable to edit my tweets, right? That's something that is a pain point of this particular process as it relates to going about a process that will elicit a certain output, right? So then once we have that fundamental understanding of our ways of working or the process or product, once we understand those gaps and pain points, then we're able to develop an optimized future state. Okay. So what's that augmented way of working that because of technology that we can draw out or improve? Okay. So again, delivering value efficiently, effectively to improve our business processes, business operations, and customers' experience. Okay, that's again technology, innovation, intelligence. All right. So with that, kind of what's the process? All right. So if we're looking at the pain, if we're looking at the process, if we're looking at pain points to develop a future state optimized process or product, what does that look like? How do we go about doing so? Okay. Now, for me, I'm a Lean Six Sigma black belt. I believe in the methodology of kind of having a scientific way, a step-by-step way to solve these problems, to capture the voice of the customer, to understand the processes or the voice of the process, as it's called. For those in the audience, if you've kind of or heard of Lean Six Sigma, or if you're a green belt, black belt, yellow belt, whatever, give me a one in the chat, right? Shout out to all the Lean Six Sigma professionals. So with that, you are really taking the opportunity to understand the current way of working, right? Understand those gaps and pain points, and then again, building that future state process. How you can do that, here's we'll say 4 different tools that you can help, that will help elicit that or drive that outcome. It's the 5 why, which is essentially just asking why 5 times, okay? So what that looks like is, if you are the product owner or the product manager, I'm an advocate for the customer. If I ask you a question, you give me an answer, then I'm going to ask why. Okay. You give me another answer, I'm going to ask why again. And we're going to go through this routine 5 times for plus or minus a few, depending on how long it takes to get to the root cause. We're going to go down that routine to get to the root cause of a particular pain point or a particular issue. Okay. And the idea is that you're separating symptoms from root causes so that, hey, once I look to improve this process, I know the problem that I'm looking to solve. Okay. The next one is Kaizen events. So this is just the idea of driving rapid improvement. I'm taking a cross-functional team. I'm pulling the group together. We're going to go into a conference room, get in front of the whiteboard, write it out. Hey, what's the process? What's the issue? How do we solve what the customer is feeling, what our internal partners are feeling, in a relatively quick fashion, so that we can drive as much value as quickly as possible. That's a Kaizen event. If you're familiar with design thinking and design thinking events, it's something similar, but more of a kind of an analytical way of working. Okay. The next tool you can use is a value stream map. This is a way to really eliminate unnecessary steps or unnecessary touch points of a process. Just that's why it's called value stream map. You're really just driving as much value as possible and getting rid of non-value added steps. Okay. And then this concept of visual factory. So with this, it's actually something that's really important when you're dealing with technical solutions or bots. Because for me, if you're a team member of mine, I can come and tell you that, hey, I'm not feeling too hot today. Hey, this tool or the system that I'm using to produce this report is down. Bots can't tell us that, right? If a bot goes out late last or stays out late last night, comes in hungover, we can't see that performance impact, right? So that visual factory is key so that we can see kind of what the performance is. Hey, this bot produced or we'll say processed 100 work items, right? That's pretty low today because typically it is about 500 to 700 work items a day. So what's going on? So that visual factories are gives us a visual cue to go deep dive and understand what's going on with this we'll say intelligent solution. Okay. So it's just a way to provide information graphically to either maintain business routine management or to help us deep dive different escalations and things that might go wrong. Okay. So that's the process of really helping to uncover insight into the current way of working. Again, what are those pain points? And then building an optimized future state because we now have the issue or we now know the root cause. Okay. So that brings us to the conclusion. The key points that I really hope that you all captured from this is the idea of intelligent automation. This is artificial intelligence and machine learning, um, using that to build or drive business process management activities through robotic process automation. Okay. That next is exponential technology. We touched on a couple: AI, ML, and RPA, but there are several different technologies that kind of contribute to this idea of intelligent automation and exponential technologies. So the purpose of these technologies in today's world is to use these technologies to drive as much operational impact or as much value for our customers as possible. Okay. Now, in doing so, this is that call out. In doing so, let's make sure that we are using technology and we're innovating with technology as intelligently as possible. So making sure we know what problem we're looking to solve, making sure that we have a good idea of what our customers are asking for, or know the voice of the customer or the voice of the process, right? So those are the different things that you can use to help drive tech innovation intelligence, okay? And with that, just a huge thank you for attending the session today, and a huge shout out to AfroTech for providing the opportunity to speak. And if you have any additional questions or interested in the conversation, DM me on Twitter, Instagram, or connect with me on LinkedIn. More than happy to connect with you all. That said, thanks again. Take care.